Welcome back to the Coaching Call podcast with myself, Ben, and my co-host,
Lloyd.
There we go, as per standard.
Yeah.
So I think today we're just doing a Q&A because I put a story up, a couple of stories up with some Q&As from Instagram. We haven't grown the profile enough yet on YouTube that we're getting questions there, but maybe future. So I think we're just going to go in and answer a few of those. Do we want to catch up first? Because quickly, I do want to say
Go on.
to the viewers that are watching that don't know, I'm sitting across the table from an IFBB Pro Card winning coach.
Oh,
That's pretty sick, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we're happy. It's she deserved it. So
Yeah. When she got it, I saw the notification on Beyond the Stage to TMI here. When I was on the toilet,
nice.
I was on social media on the toilet. I ran straight into the bedroom where Bex was. I think she paused. We've been watching Doctor Who. We were ecstatic. I was dead happy. So, yeah, we were gassed for you guys.
Thank you, man. Yeah. No, well, yeah, we're happy with it. Obviously, it's one of those. She's tried for quite a while now, and the show before that, we thought she got like harshly judged, and some of the same girls turned up at that show. She won, and I think the judging was really good. By the way, Rich Palmer, American judge, he judged the whole show very, very well. Went for shape, which I'm a big fan of personally. I think some people reward kind of muscle and leanness a little bit too much when the shape is kind of disregarded. But he really went for shape, and I like that. And it was a good show. Portugal, to be honest, in general, that's one of my favorite shows.
I've heard good things about Portugal. Yeah. Shame you were there when they got kicked out of the World Cup. That must have...
Yeah, so we did watch. We were at a cool little venue, actually, where they were watching. And, unfortunately, there was no goal score because it would have gone off.
Yeah, I did see that. I was like, when you had the high of winning the Pro Card, and then I was like, if Portugal also win their game tonight, what a night. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have taken a thing away from the night. Yeah. It would have just been like that little, like, not even the cherry on top was the Pro Card and all that stuff. It would have just maybe been like a little bit, when you get that nice sugar frosting.
Yeah, but it's that was a bad game, actually, because nothing happened for like 90 minutes. And I think the last couple of minutes is when Spain scored,
Literally, yeah. But no, so I wanted to start the podcast by saying congrats. It is wicked. And I look forward to my turn, which will be soon. I will be getting one soon. Not me necessarily, hopefully, maybe. You never know. But a client for sure.
I kept saying to Mel, it's the process, it's the chase. It's, if you get that on your first show, it's kind of like, it's great. It's impressive, but sometimes it's more rewarding when you really have to work for it, So
it was cool as well for her because, like you said, that she went from like constant wins. And then it was almost like it was going downhill. And this is, do you know, this is a testament for perseverance and why you should not give up, why you shouldn't quit, because even when things were looking bleaker and bleaker and bleaker, and I mean, like, you've got some of the worst placings you got in a couple of years, you kept going because the look was right. And this is where you give credit to you as a prep coach, because that's what you need to do. You need to be able to look and go, no, the look's right, the result just wasn't what we wanted. That doesn't necessarily mean we need to stop. It just means we need to maybe perfect here, maybe make a little manipulation there, change it ever so slightly if needed to what the winning looks are getting. You obviously perfected it and you got the result. So I'll give you an air fist bump when you're not feeling very well.
Oh yeah. I should probably say that here. If my throat's a bit off, I'm on the verge of being ill. Yeah, it's coming.
So if I've already said to him that if I get sick now, 5 weeks into prep, I get sick now and I don't win my shows later in the year, I have got that excuse. I will run with it. But no. So shall we get into
let's crack on.
Some Q&A questions. Now, I'll do the ones. It's actually nice because I only got 2 questions on the story that I did yesterday. Today's one, I think we're up to, it was like 16. So
sweet.
Everyone preferred me asking the morning of. So I'll remember that in the future.
Yeah.
But I'll do the first 2 that were asked yesterday. So actually, one of them is my client. They're both my client because he asked the same question twice. So it's one question. Jacked lifts. There's Jack Lines. I'm giving you a shout out here, bro. Fantastic junior bodybuilder.
Nice.
Obviously, because he's my client. Favorite bodybuilder's physique. Physique, he put singular, of all time.
Oh, wow. That's a big one to start with. I mean, I'm a big classic guy, and I like the smaller classic physique. So Frank Zane is kind of the first one that comes to mind. But that's a great question.
Do you want to do the singular, or do you want to just do quick fire each division?
honestly, I don't even know if I'll have to go and like search that answer.
Yeah.
We could just say random ones, man. I mean, I think, yeah, Frank Zane, he was kind of the start of like the aesthetics movement.
Yeah.
And then they came away from it, but we seem to be going back to it now. Frank Zane's kind of the top of the list for me. But outside of that, I'm a big Logan Franklin fan. I think I just favour that smaller, more aesthetic, old school look. Whereas I feel like sometimes they go a bit of a down the bigger route. And some of the top classic guys these days, they're not the most classic, in my opinion. Like Josma, I don't know what place he got, the Spanish guy. He's gone to Open now. But he was quite classic, but his waist was still quite blocky. There's a few other guys as well that kind of break into that top 10 for classic Olympian. They're not the most classic, I don't think. But that's what I would say. I like those classic shapes. But there's a couple of guys from men's physique as well that I can't really think of, to be honest. There's so many good guys, but who's your...
I think my favourite bodybuilder physique of all time is quad stomp era Jay Cutler.
Okay.
I've always said, even though you could argue he's not the greatest bodybuilder of all time, not one of the most Olympias, I think that peak Jay Cutler for me, again personally, I think was the best bodybuilding physique of all time. I just think it was perfect in every angle, every shot, and I just was that physique has always blown me away. Do you know what? If we're looking at men's physique, I actually think I really liked, way back when men's physique first was introduced, Steve Cook, Olympia, when he did the Olympia that year. Very, very aesthetic, not so much lean towards muscle. Obviously now you've got like Jeremy Buendia, I'd say was kind of the peak of what men's physique is now. Maybe Brandon Hendrickson. But I really like that Steve Cook look. And it's going to sound fanboy, but it is facts. I do think that Chris Bumstead has the greatest classic physique of all time, in my opinion. Just because of like you said, Frank Zane and Logan Franklin, all of these guys, phenomenal. But I think that where they've got still the small waist, the huge upper bodies, and they've got big legs but tapered legs, I find Chris Bumstead's physique at peak so impressive because he had a tiny waist, giant legs, giant upper, and that's hard to keep. Yes, genetics, but I just think it blew my mind every time I saw it.
He won a lot, didn't he? To be honest, I'm not that big of a Steve Bum fan.
No,
there's certain things I like in a physique, and it's more down the aesthetics route. When I look at his quads, they're like quite ugly. He's torn his hamstring. That's not amazing. His biceps, obviously, he's had issues with those in the past. And those flaws, if you hit a front double, his silhouette is incredible. Like his lats and his shoulder to width ratio, completely get that. But his biceps are just not great. And then you see the quads from the front as well. His back shot's cool. But I personally prefer more aesthetically pleasing muscle belts.
Golden era.
When you think of like Ramon, I'm not the biggest Ramon fan either, but his quads are quite aesthetically pleasing. Like his arms, his muscle bellies are full. But yeah, I can see why Bumstead went, because his shape. I'm a big believer in shape. If you squint, and like that's the first thing I think you should judge is if you squint and you get the
which silhouette
shape.
stands.
Yeah, that's really
like who looks best with if the lights were off and it was just like the back.
Again, that's what I think goes a long way, and then conditioning and obviously, But I'm trying to think of some other physiques.
I was going to say Lee Priest.
More guys out there.
Lee Priest, like even Lee. Have you ever seen a picture of Junior? Like
16-year-old
Lee Priest, biceps and his legs. Yeah. That physique was mind blowing.
Yeah,
mind blowing.
A couple of guys that were young. Can't remember who I'm thinking of now, but some of these guys look way better when they were younger, and then they put the mass on. And again, I don't know if it's just a personal preference thing, but their physique, their shape starts to go a little bit. You can say the same about Ronnie when he was younger. He had a great like aesthetic physique, and then as soon as he put the size on, obviously he is a legendary bodybuilder now, and I would debatably say the best of all time. But he did lose that midsection, and
I think Ronnie Coleman's physique was just. I think if you're gonna argue greatest of all time, like I said, my opinion, greatest bodybuilding cross aesthetic look of all time, my opinion, Jay Cutler. There's an argument it could turn into someone like Samson Dowder because he has a tiny waist. If you want to talk about if open bodybuilding was just who is the biggest human you've ever seen, probably be Ronnie. Or you got Nexzilla coming through.
Yeah, he's crazy. He must have something wrong with him because his physique is crazy. I was actually at a show with him the other day, and he's a huge guy. But there's probably three there. There's Big Ramy. I've seen Big Ramy in person as well when I was in Dubai, and he's a big dude. And then Marcus Ruhl.
he was huge.
He had more size than Ronnie. And
do you think side by side?
There's a couple of shows where if you would see him, you'd see he's a pretty big dude, but it's just the shape wasn't there, so he didn't look bigger. He was bigger, but because Ronnie had the better kind of smaller joints and stuff, the illusion of him looking bigger. There's some big dudes out there, man, for sure. But that's probably all I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably other guys that there's so many good bodybuilders out there. Man,
there are so many good bodybuilders out there. I think because you could even go down the call it potential route. Like you got people like Jack Eagles.
Yeah, but you got Naz. You got Naz right now. He's like his waist is crazy.
I'd love to see Naz win the Olympia.
Mate, he could do. I think he's knocking on the door for sure.
He had there was a lot of controversy with him and Diego.
So he's another great physique as well. Actually.
Great physique.
So this is the thing.
That was
as
close.
Soon as we go through more names,
it's closer and closer.
We could talk about this one for a while, but he's got a great physique as well. I followed him for a number of years now. He's got shape.
That signature classic pose that he did, where he like nailed his back. I'd never seen anyone do that before, and then since everyone does it.
Yeah, I mean to make your own pose, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
well
done
on him.
To be fair, I think if you've got a physique to that caliber, you can make your own pose. I think like if I tried to make my own pose, people be like, "What are you trying to do, bro? Just do a pose." Do you know what I mean? All right,
next.
So I'll start from the bottom up because the bottom one came first. So we'll go through. Some will be quick, some will be maybe a bit more extensive. Depends on what we're going to go for. First one, someone asked best pin site rotation. I'm not going to say the name of this person because obviously it's So my personal opinion, obviously I pin daily. Again, just disclaimer. Don't do this. This isn't medical advice. We're not doctors. Are you a doctor?
I'm not a doctor, but just to clarify for people that don't know what pin means, it means injection site. Yeah.
So
I mean, there's probably two categories. You got oral based.
Oh, okay.
It's not oral, but oil based.
Oil based or water based.
Yeah, or water based, which they're kind of two. Do you want to do
most water based would be sub-Q anyway, other than maybe L-carnitine.
Yeah, there's weird spots you can do for that though. We'll just do.
Well, we'll just do. We know what they're asking. They're asking, intramuscular. So my rotations, I do 8 site rotation. I do rear delt, lateral delt, quad, lat. I don't do my glutes because I don't want to risk any bulbous lumps in my glutes, and I also will sometimes even pull out for a break for a couple of weeks on the medial delt, again just in case scar tissue build up. So sometimes it's a 6 slightly rotation. It's very easy to pin rear delt and lats and quads, but often it's an 8. And I use insulin for all oils. 29 gauge, all of it. Backload it.
Yeah, I mean, those are what I would say the best size. Like you said with glutes. Well, glutes, there is 2 spots. Obviously,
the
ventriglute, ventriglute is around the side, which a lot of people are kind of confused by that. They think, oh, surely there's not enough room there. And the glute muscle is quite deep, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And also I haven't jabbed for like 6 months now, so this is what I have done in the past. But yeah, I'm the same, like side delts, rear delts. I find rear delts and lats are probably the best because there's no muscle fibers to
lats.
I think over time you can blur definition. So if you were to hammer your side delts, for example, I would be a bit worried that the lines would you'd have some issues there eventually. So for me, rear delts, lats, ventriglutes. I'm not a quad guy. I also haven't injected very, very large amounts of oil ever because that's just not what I've done in the past. So I haven't needed to rotate around too much. But I'd say, one of those. Everyone's a little bit different there. You know, there's people that do bloody biceps.
Yeah. The one place I would try, I'm going to try next time I do a TRT dosage, so less total oil. I'm going to try pec because apparently that's brilliant.
Pec ones before,
I've not done pec intramuscular.
Yeah, so I have. I'm not a big fan of injections in general. So I put my arm up on a door. And then you can see the muscle, and then I have done that before.
That's what I've heard. So I've got to relax.
Give it a go. It's fine. Yeah, but
getting a new site's always scary.
Muscle is muscle at the end of the day. So I think people say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that." We can go off practical, like kind of experience, anecdotally, what people have done before. But muscle is muscle. You know, some people have done a long head of the tricep. Some people have done calf.
I know someone who's done calf. Yeah, they regretted it instantly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But you know, if you're a big dude as well, you've got more surface area to put into, right? Some people have done traps. Again, I wouldn't
I know
someone myself, but it's that's probably all the sites we would probably go through, isn't it? Yeah.
I'd say so. So there's your pin rotations. Just don't do all in the same pin sites constantly. You're going to build up so much scar tissue. If you're looking to compete, then like you said, you're just going to blur lines, or you, God forbid, you end up on stage with a massive bulbous lump. So I always tell my clients, don't pin the day before and the morning of show day.
I do the whole
I keep all PEDs in throughout peak week, always, just to keep hormone panel in the blood the same. Just don't pee in the day before or night before, really.
I do the whole week, man, because I've had welts can last a while, so I just don't even play. I play it safe, but
often I just say as well, like, especially to any athlete, I'm like, no shoulder pins, please, because it's so obvious. So I've seen people with a lat lump before. Much less, you only notice it in front double. That's it. Delts, if you've got a big old lump on your delts, every single shot, that's noticeable.
I mean, that's why I personally would like longer asters. Like, I know people switch to like shorter asters toward the end of the prep, but if you stick to longer asters, you could miss a week of jabs and it would be there would be no difference.
I would say
so. I personally like a week off. You know, I've never, because I have had one instance once where towards the tail end of prep, my body wasn't responding to it. Wasn't like accepting the gear very well. This is a couple of preps ago, and I was just getting pip on pretty much every jab, so I had to just pull all the jabs for a good couple of weeks before the end of the show. And if you're on long esters, it's not an issue, but if you're on short esters, you're screwed.
That's the thing.
But,
okay, so there you go. Next up, Ben and Lloyd.
Yes, hello.
What's one thing you do differently if you could go back to your first prep?
Oh, mate, loads of things. Loads of things.
One thing that stands out for me 100% is I'd get help from anyone else other than who I got help from.
Yeah, that's
full stop. That's it.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know, though, in the moment. You
no.
know. Yeah, I think yeah.
Like I said, mainly from they're not in complete atrocity. Mainly just from the call it the physiology standpoint when it came to PD use. There was like little things like when you give feedback to, if a client came to me and gave feedback to me saying that they're on PDs, they're on tests, for example, and they come to me saying that their libido's in the floor, they're very emotional, they're very low energy. I'm going, right, your estrogen's sky high then. So we need to get your estrogen levels down. So we either pull back on testosterone, or we could put something in that maybe will balance out the estrogen, such as a primobolan or something like that. What I'm not going to do is go, we'll probably up the test then, bro. Get your libido up, because then obviously your estrogen will just skyrocket even higher. So
it's a different time back then, though. Like
it was
the primo mass situation. Was it
2023?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you prepped before then.
2023.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, then. Interesting.
Yeah.
I just thought we might compete at the same time, but I did mine 2020.
Yeah. No, I did mine 3 years after.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was just about to say that primo masked kind of, I call it a fad. That's been recent in the last kind of 2-3 years, which would have overlapped with that time frame. But when I first started competing, that wasn't like, people weren't doing that.
I'm not saying that it has to be specifically primo or mass. I'm just saying from an observational standpoint, client feedback says those issues are present. The last thing you're going to do is go, we need more testosterone, because you don't need more testosterone because there's already too high of a conversion from test.
Yeah, most people don't.
Do you know what I mean? So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yourself?
Well, the initial one was posing, so I went in with a understanding that the physique will carry me through. I was pretty happy with my first ever men's physique look when I first competed, but I just misunderstood the posing. I just thought, I'm going to go in and just be very calm with my posing. But it was a PCA show, and they like you to be kind of in your face. They like you to have big stage presence, whereas I was kind of trying to follow the IFBB way of doing things, where they're a bit more flowy, but a bit calmer, a bit slower. And it just doesn't really, the posing wasn't quite right. And I didn't showcase my physique as good as I could have done. And because I've coached myself since day one, and I've never had a coach, the only thing I've always done is being a little bit too cautious with carbs. Well, not even too cautious. I didn't understand. I was trying to copy other people's peaks when I needed way more carbs. And that first prep in particular, I did do a backload of carbs. So I did essentially like a junk load with natural diuretics, not actual drug diuretics, which again is another example of me copying genetic freaks at the top that were probably using diuretics, like actual drug-based diuretics. But they don't tell you that in their YouTube videos. They don't tell you that in what they're telling you, right? So I was kind of copying them, not doing the full, not knowing the full picture. So, and that's probably a common trend across my whole experience, actually, is I've always copied or tried to copy genetic freaks, realized it didn't work. So either I haven't got the genetics or I'm not knowing the full picture. So I've got to do things kind of my way and learn things a bit more depth, right? But there's probably a couple more things as well, but that's really what kind of comes to mind, I suppose. A real strange one for me was I actually did two little PEDs, which you're not going to hear too many people say, but that's just me being honest. I tapered my PEDs down quite a bit. I think I pulled my test 2 weeks out. I think I'm quite health conscious with stuff like that. So I kind of needed someone to say, no, keep this in. You know, this is going to hold the look. This is kind of what you need. This is bodybuilding. This is what you're going to do, especially for my genetic makeup. So yeah, I think I just faded a little bit at the end there because I was a bit too sensible.
Yeah. I think that's a very common. See, even things like some like people pulling growth hormone, I always say only if you know based off previous history that pulling growth hormone out improves the look, should you pull it. Don't just pull it because it's common practice to pull it. Same with other PEDs. And same with putting things in as well. Like if, for example, Superdrol, people use that to bring a really full look to the stage. But if you don't look good when you take Superdrol, don't take it because everyone else does. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like just when it comes to your PEDs, don't copy anyone. Find what looks good for you. Do it.
You know, I've been abroad a lot recently.
Yeah.
I always looked at my bag and thought it looks a lot bigger than what I've got in it.
Yeah.
So I went in the front pocket, which I forgot. There was like a hidden front pocket. Mate, it was full of like 2 pots of Superdrol. Bear in mind,
tablet ones.
Yeah,
in your hand luggage.
Yeah. Bear in mind,
really?
I haven't taken anything for 6 months.
Side it.
It's not what I've taken out now because I was like, I'm flying. I went to about 4 or 5 different airports and stuff.
That's mad.
And I'm like, hang on, I don't even know. Obviously some countries the laws are different.
Had you never taken gear abroad before?
Well, I have done here and there, but sometimes you've got to be careful. I know they're not looking for those types of drugs, but I was like, hang on, I've had 2 big pots in my hand luggage, which I've taken through the scanner thing about 5 times.
I'd be more concerned about taking leave orals than the oils. Have never been
I've never been that, but I'll never go away for that long. But
no.
Yeah, I know Dubai and stuff like that. They're really funny, so it's not really worth.
Spain yourself.
It's not really worth the hassle most of the time. So
no.
I didn't mean to do that.
No.
The last time I would have touched Superdrol was for a week.
Yeah.
In peak week last year in September.
Oh, if I was in Portugal and I found a bottle of Superdrol and I wasn't on prep, so it wouldn't have, I'd just knock it back and be the next day on the pool. Like literally, whoever I was there with, they'd just be like, "What happened to you?" I'd be like, "I grew."
I'm sure that would go well with my fertility protocol. So unfortunately,
very true.
I have to pass it
very true.
Way,
yeah.
Unfortunately.
All right, Ben and Lloyd, what's your definition of success?
Wow, that's a big one.
That's a very good question in general.
You go first.
My definition of success, I think my definition of success has changed. I mean, it will constantly change, won't it? I feel like, if this is a word, I hope this is a word, but contention. Right now in life, I feel very content where I'm at, who I have in my life, what I'm doing with my life, work-wise. I feel very content in all aspects. So I do feel quite successful in and of itself. I do want more out of life in regards to, I want more, call it tangible success in regards to clients doing well on stage, myself doing well on stage. I want to, go and continue growing my business, but that won't make me feel any more successful so long as I still feel like this, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
I know that sounds really cliche and some people might be like, oh, he's just saying that because of what? But I spent most of last year was a real wake up call for me. How bad your mental health can get, really, really dark places. And that really opened my eyes to just wanting to feel like I am now. And now that I'm here, like I said, I'm as content as I am. I'm not going to take that for granted. So that's what I would say. I want to live my life and feel like this, feel content. Want to progress, I want to remain feeling content, and I feel successful. Yeah, make sense?
Yeah, it's a tough question, isn't it? I mean, I think when you hear the word successful, people think of career, right?
Or money, or.
But I'd probably say to be successful at something, you have to kind of set out to do something in the first place. So it's kind of whatever goals you set yourself to do, meeting those goals. And I find a lot of people, they look successful, but I don't think they would feel successful.
Yeah.
So I think it's having clarity on what you're actually trying to do and then sticking to that. I think we move the goalposts. I know I have done. Move the goalposts in regards to having that vision for what you want to achieve in life, and then you either get there and change the goalposts, and then you're back to being not happy again because you're striving after this goal or whatever. But I think, being successful is just kind of setting goals for yourself and getting out there and meeting them, right?
Yeah,
I suppose. But if you keep moving them, because I do know some quite successful people. I don't know if they're happy. I don't know if they think they're successful because they're constantly striving and moving the goalposts, and I don't think that's very.
Well, that's where you've got. Good. you've got kind of two ways to look at success. Like I said, you've got kind of like a personal level of success, or you've got maybe an external view success, how people perceive you as successful in your head. So for instance, like some people might feel more successful if they win their bodybuilding show. They might be like, my prep was successful. Why? Because I won. Everyone saw me win. My view on preps is, as long as I bring my 100% to that stage, don't get me wrong, I'm competitive. Everyone should be. I want to win. But as long as I've done everything I can to put me into position to win, if I don't win, still be successful. If I look at myself back in also like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and I go, yeah, that was a sick look. So it depends on what makes you feel successful. And I think if you are someone, this was my opinion, who deems your success based on things you can show people or show off to people, I think that's going to be quite short-lived.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're always going to want more. So I don't think that's going to make you happy in the long run, potentially.
What was the question? Repeat the question, because I don't know if he's worded it in our
What's
opinion,
your definition of success?
So I don't know if
your
you're asking for our opinion. Like, what does it look like to us, though, as well, though? Is that what you think?
Well, I said that's what I answered, didn't I? I said, like, contention, isn't it?
Okay. I mean, I would say, for me to have a successful life, it's to tick the boxes across a couple of different fronts, really. That's with my own health and fitness, which I think is the foundation of everything. Have a satisfying career, so make a difference, and obviously, earn enough to support myself and my family, and then just like enjoy life. Those three things, right?
I'd say, looking at where you are now, you've already done a lot of that.
I mean,
you want to do more, but this is where what I said comes into it. Where I said about surely you should feel. I based on that description for you, you should feel content and successful now.
Yeah, I mean, I've about 2-3 years ago, I kind of got to that point where I'm pretty happy now.
Good.
And I kind of lost motivation a little bit, so I had to change my viewpoint and be like, right, I'm where I want to be now, but I don't want to cruise along on this for the rest of my life because that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And not very fun. So I did move the goalposts, but I kind of created some new goalposts.
Yes.
So I've got my original goalposts, which are already there.
Yeah.
And then I've just created some new ones to have some fun and see what can be done, you know?
I completely agree with you, because as I said, like when I said mine as well, like with the like feeling content, that doesn't mean that I want to stay exactly where I am here. It means I want to feel like this. Obviously, I don't want to be living in a 1-bedroom flat forever. I want to get a house and I want to progress that way. But having the house won't feel successful if I don't. I'd rather be content living where I am now than unhappy in a house, even though that's seen as more successful. Oh, he's got a house, he's more successful than him. But here I'm happy and there I'm not. Do you get me? So I still want to progress forwards, but I just, as long as I feel like this, I'm good.
It's a fantastic question. One thing I would add as well is I actually personally have more respect for someone who doesn't have much on purpose, because they know that's what they want their life to be.
Comfortable life.
If I just give like a monetary example, right? I know there's loads of people out there chasing 20k a month, 30k a month, right? Sometimes even more, like way more than that. And they're just not happy, even though they're still making loads of money right now. They're still in a great spot. But if someone was to tell me, I only need to make $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month to have the quality of life I want, and they're happy with that, and they're just chilling. They're just doing not the bare minimum, but they're kind of like just cruising along, happy with that. I have more respect for that, because that's someone who understands what they want in life, and they don't want to bend the rules to do something else that they don't want. Whereas you see these people, like, they normally set the goal of 10k a month, and then they try and go 15, 20. They keep bending the rules, and it's like you end up creating a life that you're never happy.
Yeah.
It's just you'll never be happy. You'll get to the next milestone, you'll never be happy. But I respect the person that's just comfortable with where they're at.
Yeah.
And they'll, say I went to someone like, what's the goal for this year? And they told me maybe they've got goals, but maybe they've said, I'm exactly where I want to be. And my goal is not to work anymore because it takes away from my quality of life, or I'm not really bothered about making more because it doesn't really add anything to my life. I'd be like, I'd respect that so much.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because they're just so clear on where they're trying to go, and they're not going to come off it for any reason. So
I like that. That was a very good question. I like that question a lot. Good one. More coaching related one, this one. These kind of tie into two. Are there signs someone is going to go off plan? How much damage can one cheat day do? Assuming you're tempted this evening. Are there signs someone's going to go off plan, or someone is going to go off plan? From a coach's perspective, I'd say yes, 100%. I'd say when you're looking at someone who's deep into a deficit in particular, maybe not a prep, because that athlete should be, mindset focused, mindset strong. But if you're, you got someone who's maybe doing lifestyle transformation, but they are pushing it to new levels they've never been to before, or they've been dieting for a very long time, and a lot of their feedback is, they're starting to feel a little bit like this, or their energy's lacking a little bit, or maybe their sleep disruptions coming. You get those latter end things that happen with a prep or with any sort of diet phase. That could be a situation where, as a coach, I look at someone who goes, okay, so they're actually talking about food in their check-in. They're saying they're hungry, they're this and that. It might be a good idea to tactically go, right, we're going to put more food in for a day or two. We're going to slow things down, give them that satisfaction, give them that diet break, because I'd say all of those things could lead to the individual getting the message as the coach, I'm really sorry, like last night I just caved and I binged. So I'd say, like, biofeedback across the week, you can sometimes see when it could happen, but it's about seeing whether or not it's a kind of like call it like an arching curve of just like going to drop, or if you think that it's just normal. Someone saying, yeah, I'm hungry, but I'm okay, or I'm hungry, I'm really hungry. Oh, mate, I feel like crap. Session was absolutely crap. I binged. Do you get me?
Yeah. I think there's a few things that can come up that can indicate someone going off track. For me, normally it's a change in communication. So, like, if someone's asked you a question once or twice a week, and then they don't ask you any questions, it's like, why have we gone quiet here?
Yeah.
Obviously, some clients, they're kind of sparse in communication. It's just how they operate, and they're fine with that. But if someone's going from being quite chatty, quite kind of, talkative, to not being very talkative, that sometimes for me is an indication that either their motivation's running thin, or they're checking out the process a little bit, or something's gone wrong. And they don't want to talk about it. So that's a big one for me. I'm trying to think of any others.
Well, you can, if we're talking about signs that someone could, that's a subjective way of looking at it, because someone could show every symptom from a coach's perspective that I'm like, oh, this looks like potentially they might do this. They might never, they might have really strong discipline. It's very easy to tell when someone has, just for your perspective. Like, if you think you can get one over on your coach, you can't, because the simplest thing that I see quite often is when people have binged on food, their physique might look the same, but water retention in the face always puffs, always. Yeah. You see it all the time. Like, post-show, a lot of the time when people do like 2-3 days off completely, their face is just bulbous. They're so swollen. You can literally see it. And obviously, if they're honest with their check-ins, like I've had someone before who was adamant that they hadn't had an off plan, and but their weight was like 3 kilos up overnight. And they were saying, and they were like, oh, it's been really hot and this and that. And I think they even said, like, oh, and it was post leg day, which obviously there can be inflammation there.
3 kilos of strong.
I was like, 3 kilos, that's a big jump.
This is just what experience as a coach comes in. It's just when you've done, thousands of check-ins, you just have this, you've just learned where the numbers go. And like, I know if someone does like go crazy on a meal or whatever, scale weight's going to be held for a good 3, sometimes 4 days. And that was the other question, is, what's the damage of one cheat meal? And that's normally what I say to people, is, realistically what we're doing is replenishing glycogen stores, which is probably going to put on a kilo if they, or depending on how heavy the person is. And sometimes with some water retention. Yeah. But you've got to burn through that replenished glycogen to then, there's a saying I use with clients, you have to run flat to lose fat. Yeah. And we have to
get flat or stay fat.
Yeah, we have to get through that glycogen you've just replenished to then get back into a fat burning position. That's going to take a couple of days, right? And if you're a lighter individual, you're not burning that many calories doing steps and cardio. The screen has gone off, mate.
Does that mean that this is still working?
That's a great question. Let's hope so, because we ain't got a choice. So we were talking about cheat day. So cheat day. I'll be honest, my clients don't normally do cheat days.
No one should.
Yeah. It's not normally a thing that I come across too often. Maybe that's because I work with slightly more advanced.
I think maybe they meant cheat meal.
Yeah. So let's say cheat meal. Generally, your replenished glycogen stores, it's going to take a day or so to burn through that. If you're a smaller, lighter individual, you're not burning many calories, it might take you even longer. Bigger guys, it normally takes a lot of food to replenish glycogen stores, and because they're heavy guys, they'll probably burn through it quite quickly. So it's normally a quicker turnaround, although there's more weight to be gained because they're bigger guys. But it's not just like take it on the chin, because I think some people think that they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I just had one bad meal, back on it today. And it's like, yeah, but although you're back on it today, there's 2-3 days where we're gonna have to get back to where you were. So it's one cheat meal has now derail 3-4 days of progress potentially. And just from I haven't looked at the data for a number of years, that's normally what I see. It takes, if we're very lucky, 2 days back to normal scale weight, normally 3 or 4 days, and that's half the week.
I agree with everything you said there from a physical standpoint. And the only I have nothing to add to that because everything you said is bang on. The only thing I'm going to add to it from a different side is how many times have you seen, and I've experienced it myself. I've had it before in the past, thankfully not on a prep, but in the past on like normal diets. It can be so difficult once you let the floodgates in of off-plan food, of like processed food, sugar, MSG, then go back to your meal plan. So it can turn into a case of, and I've seen it happen before, where you have an off plan that's maybe a little bit too far over the top. You get that hit of sugar, you get the cravings back, and maybe if you haven't had them for such a long time, you get that hit of the sugar, your body craves it more. The next day, it's a lot harder to go back to blander, boring, or more generic meal plan foods, and that temptation of, it was just one more won't hurt, and then it snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and it can be a lot harder to then actually just go back to it. And it's the same reason why I always say to people, if you're going to have an off-plan meal, have it as your last meal of the day, not as your first meal of the day, purely because it can be really mentally difficult to go and have an amazingly tasty, highly palatable, sweet stack of pancakes for breakfast, and then your next meal being a chicken and rice-based meal.
Oh, it's mad if someone could do that first thing in the morning.
Do you know what I mean? I know. But do you get what I mean? It's that kind of like, how your hypothalamus works, and in relation to your gut and everything, like it will just crave more. So that's something that people don't often consider enough of.
So Ben's clients, if you are going to have a cheat meal first thing in the morning, actually no, sorry, I've just said the opposite. Do it in the evening. Don't do it in the morning.
No, stand by that. Yes, if you are going to have one, have it in the evening.
So there we go.
You'll also, I'd say like I said, because again, I would argue there's more chance of a cheat meal turning into a cheat. Well, actually, no, there 100% is. There's more chance of a cheat meal turning into a cheat day if you start with your cheat meal at the start of the day. Because if you're having your cheat meal, your off-plan meal at 8-9 o'clock, even if you do go a bit over the top, you've only got a few hours to do it.
Or maybe you should take MK677 first thing in the morning.
Yep.
And then just get it going early.
No, just 3 megs of Retta. Yeah. You're like, I fancy something. Just boff, Retta. Don't do that. All right.
What's the next question?
Next question.
Am I legend?
This is a good one. How much do hormones play a part in bodybuilding or muscle growth, etc.? They're absolutely paramount. Absolutely paramount. Yeah. The perfect way to kind of put that across is with bodybuilding muscle growth, the main anabolic driver is the hormone testosterone. Without that, you're not building muscle. So basically 100%.
I mean, I think testosterone can be quite, let's say there are people out there that have very low testosterone that have built muscle.
Low, that's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say it's the be all and end all. However, bodybuilding as a whole, unfortunately, most of bodybuilding is drug related, and that means that the pharmacology of things, that is very important. So we'll
look at it as well. Like if we're talking about, again, if we're specifically talking about bodybuilding and growing muscle, what do bodybuilders do to grow more muscle? We take exogenous hormones. So if the exogenous hormones are allowing us to grow more muscle, that itself demonstrates how important hormones are to growing muscle, and also like every other bodily process in general. Like if your hormones are messed up, and this is why like steering into something very important, blood work that we talked about quite a lot, is very, very important to get done, not just to keep you healthy, but also to make sure that you are able to optimally grow muscle, able to optimally recover, because that's another thing, that if your hormones are all out of whack, you're not sleeping well, cortisol's really high, you're not going to be recovering.
Well, there's lots of different hormones as well. We've just mentioned testosterone because that's kind of the biggest one.
Because it is specific for muscle building, this question. Yeah.
I mean, there's other ones. You've got thyroid function, which isn't directly related to building muscle. But if you have a thyroid issue, you're going to be carrying a lot more body fat potentially.
A lot more body fat,
yeah. There can be different thyroid issues, but there's other hormones involved as well. But quite important. But I also would say it depends on the goal. If they're looking for super physiological levels of muscle mass, then yes, you're going to have to learn how to play that game. If someone's just trying to be fit and healthy and their hormones are in range, they're probably not that important for that individual because they're in range. There's probably don't need to do anything with those. So it depends on who's asking the question and what the context is.
Yeah.
Really, which we don't.
Like I said, the context they've given is how much do hormones play a part in bodybuilding for muscle growth. So in bodybuilding,
depends how big we're looking though.
Absolutely. If we're talking about bodybuilding specifically, it's absolutely.
Yeah.
For example, you're going to be
a lot.
Well, even like you're going to
natural bodybuilding, but you don't have much say on natural bodybuilding.
Then
anyway.
Like it would, if you've got a natural bodybuilder trying to reach their potential and be successful in bodybuilding, but they've got a 7 nanomole per deciliter testosterone level, probably not going to be a great bodybuilder, regardless of how hard they work, comparatively to someone who's in the 20 nanomole range. Do you get me? Yeah. So I'd say there is a hell of a lot more that goes into it. Don't get me wrong. If your testosterone level is a flat 0, then I mean you're probably not surviving. Yeah. So in my opinion, if you're specifically for bodybuilding, very important. Hence why we use exogenous hormones to enhance the muscle growth. In lifestyle, yeah, you can still make phenomenal progress with muscle growth through hard work, and you basically play the cards you're dealt. Yeah. But there's another reason why a lot of people who, like males in particular, do TRT again. So hormones very important. Yeah, I think, overall. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I kind of took the reins there. No. Very passionate about that. Let's do a kind of different style one. This is a good one. What's the biggest red flag you see when someone applies for coaching?
So my biggest red flag is not letting go of what hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. You know, I'm very lucky that a lot of the guys that come to me, they know I'm very science-based with my approach, and I'm very well thought through with the methods that we implement, right? So they do normally have, and they obviously see the results we get, and I'll explain everything. So we don't normally have this too often. We do have the odd, individual that comes on board asking for a different way of doing things, asking to get to the next level by doing some different things, and they're just not happy to let go of things that haven't worked. They're too emotionally attached to certain movements, certain kind of ways of doing things, certain ways of eating, and in certain cases, certain drugs and stuff. And it's, they say that's insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's unfortunately the one thing, the one red flag that I can't really help anyone get over, because it's an emotional attachment. It's kind of, you have to just drop the ego and say, this hasn't worked. I need to try something new. And that's kind of the biggest red flag, I would say.
Agree. I would say I've kind of got two. One of them is when you get the individual who comes to you who usually, sorry to like pick out a stereotype, but a youngish lad, maybe a little bit cockier. I don't need a training plan. My training's sound. I just need accountability and help with nutrition. I hear that a lot, and I look at them and I'm like, but you haven't progressed in years, hence why we're having this conversation. So you probably do need help with your training. I've had a guy before sign up, and he was adamant he was going to stick to his training plan. I coached him, and I said, fine, do your own training plan. And I coached his mate, and shock, within a few weeks, that guy was like, can you do me a training plan as well? I was like, thank goodness you asked for that. The other one, so basically, someone who comes to you with, similar to what you said, just an idea. They're like, I'm good with this. I don't need your help there. I don't need your help there. And I'm like, that's like me saying to someone who's coming to do work on my house, I know nothing about this. I'm not a professional in any of this, but you do this. I'm going to do this a different way. Do you know how to do that? I failed at it before, but I'm going to try anyway.
It's all ego. It's all ego, right? And I think for guys, it's even worse. I think guys want to, think that they know what they're doing in the gym, and it's like, honestly, some of the best people I know that have the best physiques, or even the best businesses, or the best anything, they normally have dropped their ego at some point to learn from someone else to get things to the next level. And that's kind of crucial in terms of getting better. Yep. Unless you want to do things slowly, or potentially risk never getting there ever, which is kind of a shame, right? There was another one as well that I would say, and that's just like not listening. Yeah. Like some people, they hire you. Yeah. And they don't listen to what you're saying. And it's
again,
like,
what are we doing here? Is when someone applies.
Okay.
So, because my other one was going to be...
I mean, that just means...
Oh, yeah.
That means the same thing, right? But I'd say, if someone...
Should have listened
comes on
when I read it.
I mean, if someone comes on board, or they've applied, they've started, and they don't really... they don't want to listen. So a good example is, say someone comes on board and they actually ask for accountability, right? Mm-hmm. And then you give them accountability.
They don't want it.
And now they're like, but I don't want to do that. And it's like, well... what are we doing here? You know, a good example is like reverse dieting. Like most people don't understand the importance of reverse dieting until you screwed it up, right?
Yeah.
And we've tried it. We've probably got it wrong in the past. You know, when you're hiring a coach, our job is to like tell you stuff so you don't go through it and find out yourself.
Streamline.
And the reverse dieting, like people that don't think that part of the process is important, I'd literally just like,
yeah.
I cannot tell it to you like clearly enough.
It's to say,
and then they rebound. And honestly, I've had a handful of clients, and again, props to these types of clients where they've gone and tried to do it themselves, or they've finished something early, and then they've come back and they've held their hands up. But listen, I've tried it; it didn't work. You were right. You know, now I'm ready to do it properly, and that is again dropping the ego and being like, actually, I need to do this to get results. And those people go far. Those are the people that progress. Those are the people that actually get where they want to go. And some, it's generally always ego related, isn't it? It's just dropping 100%. That ego and just putting your logical hat on and thinking, what do I need to do next to get to that next stage?
Yep. I think the only other one that's a big one for me when someone applies for coaching, like if I'm on an initial consult call with someone and they're doing nothing but slag off their former coach.
Yeah.
I'm always and will always be someone who will not just take one side of a story. I'll coach you, but if you're telling me this, and they're coaching, you're painting it out like they are just horrendous in every single aspect, especially where I have had it before where someone has told, I've had it on both sides. I've had it where someone has told me their version of things that I've been like, I've heard this before. Like this coaching team should not be allowed to do what they do. I've also had people talk to me really negatively about a coach, and I'm like, I know that coach. I've seen their results. That there's sometimes it's kind of like okay, what's the problem here? Like I had this was quite a long time ago, but I had someone come to me from quite a like well reputable coach, and very poorly spoke about them in regards to they never like their check-ins were like really late and all of this and all this and all this. So I was like, oh, that's a shame. Like this, I'm quite surprised at that. Coached them for 4 months. They checked in twice, and I was like, their check-ins weren't late, bro. You don't check in. So red flag there is because I think to myself, right, how truthful are you being about what they're doing? How truthful would you be about? It's just a red flag. I think if someone's it's the same as when exes do it. If an ex does nothing but absolutely rip the shit out of their ex-partner, but they were with them for 14 years or something, it's like, well, if they were that evil, why were you with them for that long? Yeah. They're missing some stuff out. So that's a red flag for me as well. Just if you're going to inquire with the new coach and you didn't get along with your previous coach, feel free to say that, but I'd say focus on what's to be, not what was. What didn't work, this didn't work for me, this is what I want. And will, as new coaches go, sound. That's how we do things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. What's the time?
Got 11 minutes left.
Sound, not a problem.
How many we got to get through?
Let's do some quick fire ones.
Sweet.
Best brand of gym kit.
Oh, mate, I'm not really a gym kit guy.
Mine's Prime. Love Prime. Love the.
I never even heard of it. Oh,
Prime
gym
Strive.
kit. I thought you meant clothes, mate.
Oh. Well, this guy, I know this guy. He's a bodybuilder.
It's getting a bit weird then. I was like,
yeah, this is actually. Well, I say this guy. This is my client, Callum.
Oh, gym
He's
kit.
definitely asking.
I'm a big
about
fan of
the shout out, Callum.
Nautilus Nitro. Oh no, Cybex. Which one is it?
No, Nautilus Nitro.
Nautilus, yeah. So I'm a big fan of Nautilus kit because I like the back history.
Yeah,
you know,
love Nautilus.
Of Arthur Jones and the fact that Nautilus is like a shell, and I like that back history. Right, obviously some of the machines are not great, but the Nitro stuff very, very good.
It's phenomenal.
I weirdly like Techno Gym stuff.
Like this is the thing; it's very specific to what you feel.
I've had this conversation with a few people. There's a few bits of the Techno Gym line that are crap, but the chest press like converges
really nice,
nice, and the lat pull down that you can use, you know, single sided, it like arcs round, and it works perfectly with kind of how the lat functions. Obviously, they're not the heaviest machines, and you've got to load them a bit heavier. But there's a couple. I'd probably say if I was to have one line of kit, it'd probably be the Nautilus stuff, really.
Mine would just be Prime because I love the 3-tier pin load, so resistance profile benefits you get from it. And for me, again, a lot of people say Prime's amazing. A lot of people say it's not. I have yet to use any Prime machine that I've not connected well with. Every single one I've used, I've been like, I love that. So for me, the consistency for me, maybe it's my biomechanics, maybe it's my anatomy. I just get along with those.
I think it's because you're a bigger guy.
Maybe.
Whenever I've tried it, I found they just didn't converge enough. Like whenever I was doing a chest press,
I don't have that issue.
It went straight up, and I was like, maybe I just haven't given them a good go. And I find the loading thing, bit of a fad. Like I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered. I'm not. I personally think the resistance profile thing. No one's really proven that. No one's really proven that makes a difference. Whether you lighten certain ranges. Mike Israel kind of took that and ran away with it, and I don't think there's much evidence behind, making the stretch portion heavier and so on and so on. And
I do think there is in relation to,
it makes
for example,
sense, but it's not proven.
How I do my rows, my last exercise, I use a prime extreme row or prime seated row. And when I'm at the end of a session, I'll 80% load the top pin, 20% load the bottom pin, because the lengthened range will be so much stronger, so much fresher than the shortened range at the end of a movement. You can squeeze out a few more reps and you can spend more time under tension. You can keep better control total because that weight drops off and allows you to get fully into that stretch.
Yeah.
Into that squeeze.
It's really complicated now because they say...
Yeah. That, again, this is... Sorry to interrupt you there. That what I said there as well is very much not something you should worry about. Prime kit is for more advanced lifters who care about those finer 1%. General populace all probably should just load the middle pin anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's complicated with that stuff because it's they say like stretch mediated hypertrophy. That's fresh in my mind because I literally just did a voice note before walking in on that. Yeah. And they even say the lats don't respond to stretch mediated hypertrophy. So it's like, well, if the length and range, loading the length and range doesn't actually cause stretch mediated hypertrophy like there's with other muscles, like is there any benefit in doing that? And then you got hammer strength, which is the opposite. And people have built a lot of muscle with hammer strength. Yeah. And I know there's a coach in Australia.
The Australian strength coach.
Not his name. No, I'll send you his stuff. His name's Adam. I can't remember his second name, so I won't butcher it. But he has the complete opposite view. He says that, having the reverse resistance profile is actually better for the lat. I'll have to dig it out and send it to you. But I don't think that is as... I think it's a bit overrated. But it doesn't mean to say the machines aren't good. It's just I think we built so much muscle with that, the opposite. I just think money makes the world go round, and they've just seen an opportunity, done it, and it's sold.
Stride's been around for a long time.
Stride's been around for a long time, but not that range.
Yeah.
Not that loading range.
Yeah.
The black and green stuff.
Well, that's when they've rebranded to Prime.
That's
it's the
when
same
it picked
company.
Up popularity, yeah.
Yeah, it's picked up popularity.
But before
it's
then,
been around for a long time.
Well, that goes to show that, it's not amazing. Otherwise, we would have raved about it before, I would have thought. But again, kit's kit.
Yeah.
Your muscle doesn't know what's going on at the end.
No. Muscle is train to failure, train hard, train smart, sound. What's another good one here? We'll do that one last. Let's do... How much is... If you could only do 3 exercises again for the rest of your life, what would they be? This is again from my client Haley. Well, shout out Haley.
I'd be really tactical with this one.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah,
I'd do clean and press because you can do that slow. Because you got to think if you can. She said movements, not tempo.
She did.
So it means you can do it explosively. You can do it really slow, which is essentially a deadlift into a press.
That's clever. Yeah.
What else though? I don't know.
Well, in my head, I was going for just like, if I had to choose 3 patterns, make it a bit harder for myself. Because like now I think, clean and press would be really, really clever.
Takes off a lot.
Yeah. But mine would be deadlift, because then you're into it. That's your posterior chain. Again, if you had to only do 3, deadlift, your posterior chain's getting worked. Your lats are not going to get the development maybe they need as much, but you're still working your full posterior. I would then go for a mid-incline chest press, because you're going to be able to obviously get chest, shoulders, triceps, and you can also be tactical and you know what I mean? And then I'm torn. Do you know what? I would probably say quad extension, leg extension, because it's the only movement you can actually work the quads, like prioritize the quads in the shortened range. I was going to say a leg press, but you're lengthening the quads. That's where the bias is predominantly. So I would say probably a deadlift, mid-incline press of some kind, and a quad extension. And the incline press I would actually do probably with dumbbell, just to make sure that I'm getting stabilizer muscles in and a bit more total upper movement rather than a fixed regime profile.
Yeah, I mean, I would stick with the clean and press because that does.
Yeah, I didn't want to take yours away. Yeah,
upright row.
Yeah. If I could swap mine...
But also you can catch it and do a full squat.
Yeah.
So you can get so many in one. And then I would just do a pulling movement, which would probably be some kind of pull up, to be honest. Or maybe even another row. I've already hit those muscles. So probably a pull up or pendule row. And then I would do, this is a tough one. I'd probably do some kind of, maybe even a weighted push-up, because you're getting a core.
Yeah.
You're getting your abs hit there as well.
Yeah.
But that's obviously a limitation.
You've been a lot more tactical. I went with like just what movements in the gym that I see.
If I thought about this more, because you kind of want to hit every single movement pattern.
If we had prep time, we'd both be able to come up with something that's like a total body workout.
There's no rotation. But no, yeah, I'd probably go with those three there.
Yeah, I think yours
on the
is
spot.
Very good there.
That's probably what we go with.
Yeah. Should we do last one?
No, we got two more.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's like 3 minutes. Quick fire them. If there is two more.
One of them's someone's actually given like a full case study, but it's a very personal one, so I'm going to message them back privately.
Oh yes, have to. Sorry,
yeah,
that is.
I'm going to message them back. Well, they'll get a private message.
Yeah.
One
more.
Success.
One more. Because you're talking crap. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, we could do two more then, because how much do supplements matter when working out and building muscle? We've covered this briefly in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
I would say not as much as people think they do.
Yeah.
If you do everything else perfectly, they can make a pretty good difference. But a supplement is a supplement to a good established routine.
Yeah.
If you have a poor routine, no supplement's going to save you. If you do not have for example, sleep supplements, if you can have really good sleep if you put your phone down, you eliminate blue light before bed, caffeine away from bedtime, you adapt your circadian rhythm well, and then you can use things like Trained by JP Dream Sleep, Football Sports Ben 10, to aid in that sleep state, melatonin to help with it. But if your nighttime routine is absolute crap, you're not going to take Dream Sleep and then be like, oh, I don't need a nighttime routine. So it's supplementary.
Yeah, I mean, if your diet and your habits are crap, you probably need supplements more. I would actually say the opposite potentially of what you just said. But if your diet and habits are really, really good, you probably don't need a supplement much because you're covering it all in your diet. So it depends. If you are someone that needs loads of supplements, you're probably doing something wrong somewhere. Like if someone needs magnesium, it's probably because you've got that gap in your food and you're deficient.
I'd say magnesium goes in has a place in.
It can do, but deficiency would be a problem with your nutrition. Yeah. And that's normally the people that suffer from sleep issues and then they take magnesium and they're fine.
Yeah.
It's normally because they were deficient in magnesium, which is a hole in their nutrition, right?
Yeah. Again, I was thinking from more of the progression, or like people that I coach and things like that who come to me like in regards to supplementation. I expect them to do this and that. Yes, agree with you 100%. If you're then like
I don't think supplements are as big
I'd always just say to anyone, like if they're like, oh, I'm really vitamin this deficient, I'd go, okay, so you can take the vitamin supplement, great, but I'd very strongly urge you to work on the natural remedy first. Because otherwise, if you prioritize supplementation, people think that their habits are acceptable because they can supplement the things they need. When actually, if you need to supplement, you should probably fix that need in your day-to-day lifestyle. So, for example, if you're deficient in vitamin D, you're spending too much time indoors, bro. Go for a walk outside.
It's hard in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a tough
one. Not at the moment. Right, last one. Because I saw a really good one. This is a brief one. Ben and Lloyd, what would you do instead of coaching if that went out the window? If robots took over coaching?
Oh, that's a great question.
What would we do? What would you do, Mr. Lloyd?
Do you mean right now, or if I didn't start coaching?
If right now. I think that's how it's phrased. If coaching, because it said if coaching went out the window. So if robots came
right now, I'd probably sit at my desk all day and invest or trade.
Yeah.
I do it a little bit now.
Yeah. That's what you do. Yeah.
No, I don't. It's not like
I don't blame you.
It's I've made very few trades in my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what I would do, because I would just sit down and I would just follow the markets all the time. Gold, silver, oil, crypto.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just waiting for the market to dip and get back in. And that's what I would do, because it's kind of not the easiest, but it's the most accessible thing to do right now.
Yeah.
With what I got available to me. Outside of that though, that's probably it, mate, to be honest. Yeah.
Mine would probably be, because I love the industry, I'd want to stay in the industry. So if I couldn't coach and couldn't PT, because obviously the obvious answer is if I couldn't online coach, I'd go back to floor work PT. That'd be fine. I enjoy coaching in any way, but if coaching's like no coaching, I'd probably, it would streamline my long-term goals. My long-term goal in the future is to open my own gym. It would push that a bit more. Maybe I'd like start looking for investment a little bit early, because right now I don't want to open a gym because I'm, my coach, I'm loving the coaching. I want to put all my effort into that. I maybe like look at maybe pushing for private investment now to maybe open one earlier, get my own gym, or just work at a gym. And then maybe my mindset is there's always something you can do as a alternative side income if you've got a good business head on. Right now,
OnlyFans, mate. Come on, just
there you go. There you go.
That's what you're thinking.
But like I said, I would be very inclined to learning a new skill because I'm a big nerd. I like to learn new things. So try and learn a new skill, or, try maybe if it's a coding thing that has taken over from coaching, find out what that is and why, and see if there's any way you can get in on that. So
yeah,
that's a very gay way.
My answer was actually really bad because I would just run sunset retreats.
Yeah, fair. Can I work for you?
Because we already do that. I don't think. I don't know what there would be to do.
How well do you pay?
Well, I actually don't take a pay from that myself, so
okay.
not very.
No, I'm probably not going to. Probably not going to.
It's in the business, but I do come up with loads of really random ideas as well. But yeah, interesting. I didn't think about that one though. I had to think about that one on the spot there.
Yeah. Well, that's just so you know as well, because I actually didn't either. Didn't purposely. Didn't actually read any. No, didn't read it through any of them in detail. I looked at them briefly, but I was like, I wanted them all to be a unprepared thing. He literally hadn't even seen any of them, so I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man.
I think that is
good one,
raw and ready.
Thank you for the questions, everyone.
Q&A. We'll definitely do. I enjoyed doing that one.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. So we'll definitely do another Q&A in the future. But that, I believe, is episode 8.
I've actually lost count, mate. I have no idea.
Episode Summon.
Go with what you think.
Thank you very much for tuning in and watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out, people. Take care.